Welcome, everyone. If you would please stand up as we welcome our ministers. Thank you. First, we have Reverend Sandra Cooper, Staff Minister, Center for Spiritual Living, St. Augustine, Florida. Reverend Kent Bernard, Bridges of Wellness, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Reverend Kathy Bennett from Ivanhoe, Texas, retired or rewired. We have Reverend Virgil Gefeller, retired from Merritt Island, Cocoa Beach. Reverend Gail Reuter from Pathways Center for Spiritual Living in Wilmington, Delaware, retired and rewired to Wildwood, Florida. Reverend Charles Geddes, founder and director of Bridges of Wellness in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Reverend Catherine Knox, Dean of the Centers for Spiritual Living School of Spiritual Leadership, Florida Campus, Suncoast CSL in Tampa, Florida. We have our own Vicki Woods, Pastoral Care Minister here at Oakbrook Center for Spiritual Living. Reverend Bob Grabowski, former Global Representative, Light of the Mountains, CSL, Sun Valley, Idaho. And Reverend Barbara Grabowski, Light on the Mountains, CSL, Sun Valley, Idaho. Reverend Ron Fox, Center for Spiritual Living, Space Coast, Rockledge, Florida. Our senior minister here at Oakbrook, Reverend Peggy Hostetler, Oakbrook Center for Spiritual Living. Reverend Maria Clemente, Doorway into the Infinite Ministries, Lady Lake, Florida. And finally, the person of the hour, Reverend Natalie Beth Linguri, founding minister, European New Thought Conference Center for Peace, Geneva, Switzerland.
I definitely agree with Ernest Holmes when he said, God's creative power of mind is right here. And all we have to do is look around right here, right now, and we see that power. We at Oakbrook Center for Spiritual Living are so excited and so blessed to host and be an integral part of this celebration. As our own Beth Linguri takes her next step into a new aspect of herself and her ministry. Beth, would you stand for just a moment and allow us to congratulate you and surround you with our love? And speaking of God's creative power of mind, I will share with you how Reverend Charles Geddes has put that creative power to work in his life. Reverend Charles Geddes has been in the ministry for 44 years. 44 busy years. He is the founding board member of the Big Sky retreat held in Big Sky, Montana, that will be celebrating its 40th anniversary in 2015 as the oldest non-denominational retreat in the world. He served on the board of directors of International Centers for Spiritual Living as ethics chair. He was awarded an honorary doctorate for his years of contributions, and in 2004, voted Minister of the Year. Yay. Reverend Geddes established the Phoenix Bridge program for licensed ministers in transition between positions to have ongoing counseling support, which was carried into the key programs of CSL. He has established a new paradigm of ministry as a spiritual wellness center, Bridges of Wellness, in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, that offers multimodalities of healing for body, mind, and spirit with a spiritual root in science of mind. He is also the current regional support coordinator for Centers for Spiritual Living, covering Florida, Georgia, and Alabama. And even more, he's right here in Ocala, Florida, right now, as presiding minister for this wonderful occasion. Would you help me welcome Reverend Charles Geddes? All right, I'll let you have it.
Okay. First and foremost, before I begin, Reverend Beth, acknowledging you, your heart, your soul, your world ministry, meeting you for the first time today. All I know is thank God for you and souls like you that have the courage to spread this teaching all over the world and shower it with your devotion, your care, your regard, and your love, that we finally, one by one, we remember I'm in you, and you are in me, and we are in this presence that knows us only as its beloved. So I am so honored to preside, and that I have been asked to be here in this moment. The pathway to ordination is something that can't be defined because it's unique to every one of us. But it's beyond what anyone can imagine. The history of 44 years is huge, and serving in international, and now the privilege of knowing that we are finally one organization. But that the journey is really about a call. And when we answer that call, the demands and the realities are huge, because it means that we change everything as we've known it. It means that we indeed, as is permeated in the Science of Mind text, that we love the Lord our God with all our heart, with all our mind, with all our soul, and that nothing matters but our alliance, our allegiance, our remembrance of the call. So I want to share some wonderful letters that have come to recognize Reverend Beth today. And this is quite magnificent. This is from Reverend Barbara Leger, founder, spiritual leader of the Timeno Center for Self-Realization in the Ukraine Science of Mind community. Dearest Beth, on the most special occasion of your ordination as a minister for life, this is a moment that will be with you forever. And so I invite you to simply allow yourself to be even more spacious than usual, and take it all into yourself and treasure it as you commit yourself to love. As one of your blessed mentors, during the past 2 years, I have come to treasure you and love you as a colleague, friend, wise guide, and model of how to be teachable and fluid. During the past 2 years, you have demonstrated such grace, flexibility, and willingness to learn, grow, and follow your heart as you have navigated the journey to become available to your ministry. Please know your journey to ministry has left a deep impression upon me. True to being mutual mentors, your gift has found its mark in my life as I now am navigating a great regeneration of my own ministry. I am so happy to have had this time which brought us this precious friendship. You are inspiring, Beth, and your gifts are expansive and cannot be contained in 4 walls. You are unlimited, and therefore all aspects of your emerging ministry are being naturally drawn to expanding the way and means of sharing, teaching, and living the science of mind. Dearest Reverend Beth, blessings and congratulations to you as you accept the acknowledgement of your ministerial ordination. How wonderful it is to celebrate your abiding dedication to the teaching and practice of truth. It is so right and perfect that you are being honored at this time through the sacred ritual. Your commitment to the revered path of ministry has brought you to the most extraordinary moment in time. As you step through this door of recognition and accept the mantle of ordained minister of religious science, your life will be forever changed. I am so proud of you and for you. All that you bring to ministry expands the presence and increases the impact of science of mind in the world. As you shine the light of spirit, you illumine the way for so many to awaken more fully to their spiritual magnificence. This chosen path is not an easy one. We must remain clear and dedicated to science of mind principles no matter what. And what I know with every fiber of my being is that you will always be up to the task. Reverend Beth, even now greater things await you as you stand in service to all who call you teacher and minister. Thank you for all you do, thank you for all you give, and thank you for who you are. On behalf of a very grateful organization and spiritual movement, I again proclaim my most joyous congratulations to you and your loving community. With love and gratitude always, Reverend Dr. John Waterhouse, President of Centers for Spiritual Living. And one more letter. Dear Reverend Beth, please know that I am ecstatic. Nothing grabs my attention more than a minister who achieves ordination. The dedication, vision, and spiritual discipline that it takes to accomplish what you have done is monumental. The world owes you congratulations. The work you have started, the work you have done, and the work you are to do is more than a good idea. It is absolutely essential to the well-being of life. Thank you. Please know that we, that is the Leadership Council of Centers for Spiritual Living and myself, know that you are the crucible in which the consciousness and soul of your work resides. We also know that this consciousness is a reflection of not only what is present now, but an awakening to something even grander. All that said, Reverend Beth, I know something else as well, and that is you. From the first time I met you, I knew that you were destined to succeed and flourish in this profession. The clarity, commitment, love, and energy that it takes to answer your calling emulates from you in the most attractive and compelling way. I recognize in you someone who is doing exactly what they were born to do, one who is diligently applying who they are to what is required to be done. My deep gratitude goes out to you for your marvelous manifestation that you have generously achieved And I know that all involved with the services and activities of the Center for Spiritual Living Switzerland not only share the marvelous effect, they also share the same magnificent presence. Please know that you are loved and honored. Dr. Ken Gordon, Spiritual Director of Centers for Spiritual Living. Wow. It's very clear you are a wow lady. I took some time to look at the website and the information that is on about this incredible spiritual retreat that Reverend Beth has created outside Geneva, Switzerland. That's in its 4th year. And I just want to share this because it moved my heart. We have a high vision for a world that is led by compassion, respect to the value of diversity, and recognition of the unity of all life. This retreat is one way that we can contribute to the realization of that vision. We recognize that each of us has a role in the world, and as we each individually develop, we transform the world. This retreat is a beautiful, safe, and sacred place for you to uncover your innate power and potential. And why this moved me so is because it reminds me of 39 years ago beginning the Big Sky Retreat, and that the whole intention was that maybe we move some hearts, that their lives will be changed forever. And as long as our ministries are about that, and we forget numbers and remember it's one heart at a time that moves mountains, then we will see not only this teaching all over the world, but it will be known by many names, because it's never been about, am I science, am I religious science, it's, am I that which I am? Am I living that which the mystics from the dawn of time have taught? Am I living that which reminds us that we're all connected and we can never escape it? And one day, as we practice this and live this, we awaken to a world that everyone gets it. Thank you. And it's now my great pleasure to introduce the actual really newly appointed Dean of the Florida Holmes Institute, Reverend Catherine Knox, to do the invocation.
Beth, I am so honored to be here. I met Beth in her senior year of ministerial school. It was such a pleasure to have you in class. I cannot, thinking back on just a couple of years ago when we held the graduation, and Dr. K was just such a loving soul in taking the students through ministerial school and embracing Beth. I remember doing an independent study with her from here to Geneva. It was the most wonderful experience. And because of that, it was my pleasure to take over from Dr. Reverend K. And I was so pleased to see that on the back of the program you have in remembrance of Dr. K. Thompson. Thank you. And so let's just take a moment to turn within, to feel that presence of the divine, that infinite source of all life. It is that source, that love, that power, that presence in which we live and move and have our being. And here today, at the ordination of Reverend Beth, we all are here for that purpose, as we recognize the infinite, global, universal mind of God. And so I am recognizing and knowing that each one of us here just adds to that power individually in supporting Reverend Beth. I also know that this ordination, this ceremony, is infused with the love of God right here and right now. We bless the participants. We bless Oakbrook for hosting this momentous occasion, and all of those hands that have helped to bring this about. And we bless Reverend Beth for her work already that she has done in this movement and globally, in spreading this philosophy, this way of life in which we live in our human experience. And so for all of that, I am so grateful. I am so grateful to be here. I am grateful for each light in this world that I can feel as I stand here, just glowing and radiating. And so with all of that, I just let go, knowing everything is in divine right order, and so it is.
And I see I already flubbed so far as the sequence here, because that isn't it wonderful that the older you get, it doesn't matter. It's just, you know. But it all seems so natural to share the letters and share my heart in that moment. And now I do have the privilege to introduce for the world, the prayer for world peace, which seems so appropriate. Reverend Vicki Woods, who is the staff minister here at the Oakbrook Center for Spiritual Living. Yes.
Thank you, Beth, for this wonderful opportunity. A prayer for world peace. I know there shall be a free interchange of ideas, of cultures, of spiritual concepts, of ethics, of educational systems and scientific discoveries. For all good belong to all alike. I know that because the Divine Mind has created us all, we are bound together in one infinite and perfect unity. In bringing about world peace, I know that all people and all nations will remain individual but unified for the common purpose of promoting peace, happiness, harmony, and prosperity. I know that deep within every person is the divine pattern of perfect peace is already implanted. I now declare that in each person and leaders of thought, everywhere this divine pattern moves into action and form, to the end that all nations and all people shall live together in peace, harmony, prosperity forever. So it is now. Dr. Holmes. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. And we have some beautiful music now, and then there will be prayers for the world.
who only have one wing. All angels who cannot reach the sky, 'cause we need each other to fly. Do you know that there are angels in our midst? Can you hear them? Can you feel them? They're all around you, with you every day. Do you see them, or do you look the other way? It's those kids that I forgot to kiss as I hurried out the door, or that stranger that said hello that I ignored. They are angels. We are angels. We are angels. We are all angels who only have one wing. All angels searching for each other. All angels who cannot reach the sky, 'cause we need each other to fly. My life gets so busy, time goes by so fast. I rush through the day, trying to make each moment last. But when I take the time to look around, I see sweet angels smiling back at me. Everywhere at any time, I need to open up my eyes and see the beauty that surrounds me. And now I realize we are angels. We are angels. We are angels. We are all angels who only have one wing. All angels searching for each other. All angels who cannot reach the sky, 'cause we need each other to fly. 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 We need each other.
And so wherever she was in the world, she would know that at 6 a.m. here, I would be praying with her. And I introduced her to the Gayatri, which is the most sacred of the Vedic mantras of the Sanatana Dharma, which subsequently became Hinduism. And the Gayatri mantra is, in English, it means earth, atmosphere, heaven. We meditate on the sacred light of the effulgent source. May that inspire our thoughts. And We talked about getting the ego out of the way. Well, Om Bhurбhuvah Svaha Tatsavituvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhurбhuvah Svaha Tatsavituvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Congratulations, Reverend Beth. It's such a pleasure to be here for this. Wow. Wow.
I am honored to be here in front of so many wonderful minds. This is beautiful, every word that has been said. I am Buddhist. I am from the New Kadampa tradition. I've been practicing for a few years, quite a few years, but that doesn't matter. So I'm speechless in front of so much knowledge and very thankful. I'm very thankful for Reverend Peggy, who has allowed me to come for visioning for a few years, and it has been beautiful as always. So thank you to every one of you who allow this to continue. It is amazing and what it brings to the community, one person by one. Thank you very much. So I am going to do the liberating prayer from the New Kadampa tradition, and I'm going to try to do it without my phone, but I think I need my phone, so excuse me for a second. I'm going to turn it on, so give me... O Blessed One, Shakyamuni Buddha, precious treasury of compassion, bestower of supreme inner peace, you who love all beings without exception, are the source of happiness and goodness, and you guide us through a liberating path. Your body is a wish-fulfilling jewel. Your speech is supreme purifying nectar, and your mind is refuge for all living beings. With folded hands I turn to you, supreme, unchanging friend. I request from the depths of my heart, give me the light of your wisdom to dispel the darkness of my mind, and to heal our mental continuum. Please nourish me with your goodness, that I in turn may nourish all beings with a non-ceasing banquet of deeds. through your compassionate intention, your blessings and virtuous deeds, and my strong wish to rely upon you. May all suffering quickly cease, and all happiness and joy be fulfilled, and may holy Dharma flourish forevermore. So I would like to take this time to dedicate all the prayers that I've said today, the prayers, to your endeavors, and that I'm sure that you will pass that along to anyone who comes in contact with you or anyone in this building. Thank you very kindly.
St. Francis of Assisi prayed, Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. O divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, not so much to be understood as to understand, not so much to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, it is in dying that we awaken to eternal life.
Stephen Green was called elsewhere today. So, Beth, thank you so very much for letting me participate. These are the Jewish prayers for peace. Come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, that we may walk the paths of the Most High. And we shall beat our swords into plowshares, and our spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war any more. And none shall be afraid, for the mouth of the Lord of hosts has spoken. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country, that it may always be a stronghold of peace and its advocate among nations. May contentment reign within its borders, health and happiness within its homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship among the inhabitants of all lands. And may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Blessed is the eternal God, the source of peace.
A series of poems by Rumi, a Sufi poet. Not Christian or Jew or Muslim or Hindu, Buddhist, Sufi or Zen. Not any religion or cultural system. I am not from the east or the west. Not out of the ocean or up from the ground. not natural or ethereal, not composed of elements at all. I do not exist. I am not an entity in this world or in the next. Did not descend from Adam, Eve, or any origin story. My place is placeless, a trace of the traceless, neither body or soul. I belong to the beloved, have seen the two worlds as one, and that one call to and know. First, last, outer, inner, only that breath-breathing human being. The religion of love is separate from all forms of religion. Lovers are of one nation and one religion, love, and that is God. Your task is not to seek love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. Beyond the ideas of wrongdoing and right-doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there.
So in like Rumi, this is a chant from the Sufi mystical branch of Islam. Many of you may know it. It's essentially yearning for God and the fact that there is no God but Allah and Muhammad is his messenger. So if you know it, please join. Ishkala mabud leila, ishkala mabud leila, ishkala mabud leila, ishkala mabud leila, la ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, Muhammadan Rasulillah, Muhammadan Rasulillah. All I ask of you is forever to remember me as loving you.
So before we begin, I just wanted to thank you for giving us the honor of participating in this ceremony today, and congratulations. So my wife and I have the honor of reading a combination of the Declaration of Principles which Ernest Holmes wrote in 1927 and combining that with the Centers for Spiritual Living Global Heart Vision. We believe in God, the living Spirit Almighty, one indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause. This one manifests itself in and through all creation, but is not absorbed by its creation. The manifest universe is the body of God. It is the logical and necessary outcome of the infinite self-knowingness of God.
We envision all people, all beings, and all life as expressions of God.
We believe in the incarnation of the Spirit in everyone, and that all people are incarnations of the one Spirit.
We see a world in which each and every person lives in alignment with his or her highest spiritual principle, emphasizing unity with God and connection with each other. A world in which individually and collectively we are called to a higher state of consciousness and action.
We believe in the eternality, the immortality, and the continuity of the individual soul, forever and ever expanding.
We envision humanity awakening to its spiritual magnificence and discovering the creative power of thought, a world where each and every person discovers his or her own personal power and ability to create an individual life that works within a world that works for everyone.
We believe that heaven is within us, and we experience it to the degree that we become conscious of it.
A world in which we live and grow as one global family that responds and honors the interconnectedness of all life.
We believe the ultimate goal of life to be a complete emancipation from all discourse of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be obtained by all.
A world where personal responsibility joins with social conscience in every area of the political, corporate, academic, and social sectors, providing sustainable structures to further the emerging global consciousness.
We believe in the unity of all life, and that the highest God and the innermost God is one God.
A world where each and every person has enough food, a home, and a sense of belonging. A world of peace and harmony, enfranchisement, and justice.
We believe that God is personal to all who feel this indwelling presence.
We envision a world in which resources are valued, cared for, and grown, and where there is generous and continuous sharing of these resources.
We believe in the direct revelation of truth through the intuitive and spiritual nature of the individual, and that any person may become a revealer of truth who lives in close contact with the indwelling God.
We envision a worldwide culture in which forgiveness, whether for errors, injustices, or debts, is the norm.
We believe that the universal spirit, which is God, operates through a universal mind, which is the law of God, and that we are surrounded by this creative mind which receives the direct impress of our thought and acts upon it. We believe in the healing of the sick through the power of this mind. We believe in the control of conditions through the power of this mind.
A world which has renewed its emphasis in beauty, nature, and love through the resurgence of creativity, art, and aesthetics.
We believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of life to all.
We envision a world that works for everyone and for all of creation.
We believe in our own soul, our own spirit, and our own destiny, for we understand that the life of all is God.
Pilgrim, how you journey on the road you choose to find out why the winds die and where the stories go. All days come from one day, that much you must know. You cannot change what's over, but only where you go. One way leads to diamonds, one way leads to gold, another leads you only to everything you're told. In your heart you wonder which of this is true. is a pilgrim. Each one wants to know the reason why the winds die and where the stories go. Pilgrim, in your journey, you may travel far. A pilgrim, it's a long way to find out who you are. Pilgrim, it's a long way to find out who you are. Pilgrim, it's a long way to find out who you
I brought a whole bunch of papers just to frighten Beth. She asked me to be brief. Kathy Hearn, the former leader of the Science of Mind movement, began ordination ceremonies with the statement that this is not just ordaining Natalie Beth Linguri, but it's consecrating everyone here who knows her and supports her. Her symbol is a dream catcher on the back of your program. That lovely web-like form from the Native American culture that catches only the magic of dreams and lets all the negative flow through. That's Beth's philosophy, I think. So I'd like to have us all take a moment of silence to consider how each of us can lend a hand, a helping hand, to Beth as she pursues her vision and dream of helping create a world that works for everyone. So it is. It's good for me to finally get to Ocala, a little town in Florida that I've been chasing through crossword puzzles for years, never knowing where it was. Thank you. Crossword puzzle makers love words that have more vowels than consonants, and Ocala fits. Also, I'd like to acknowledge Reverend Catherine Knox, who was one of Barbara's and my earliest teachers. And I'm sure that she's as surprised as we were and are that we became ministers from our little town up in northern Idaho. But you can never predict the paths that our lives take when you get on the spiritual path. I'm certain that 15 years ago, Beth didn't have any clue that this was going to be where she would be today, becoming an ordained minister, or being called to start an annual international conference in Switzerland, presenting the Science of Mind philosophy. No minister, indeed none of us, ever knows just how our words touch other people's lives. And The one thing I do know, after having the incredible opportunity of working with Beth for the last 4 years in the planning and execution of the Geneva Conference and being a part mentor and part ER for her, signing off her quarterly reports and all of that sort of thing. The thing that I know is that she is a tireless dynamo and diamond, the visionary and the organizing force behind the Geneva Conference, of which the 4th one will be in just a couple of weeks now. And I invite everyone to come for next year. Next year will be the 5th annual conference that Beth has had as the fruition of her dreams. All through ministerial school, they keep asking us, what does your church look like? And I know that mine, and I'm sure Beth's, was, my church is the world. I teach global inclusivity. We are one. Beth is from Massachusetts, got a bachelor's in chemistry and biology, got a master's in education, got a certificate in counseling, and these are from schools like Boston University and Georgetown. And from that, she packed her bags and went traveling. And she traveled in Turkey, Austria, Germany, and Switzerland over the 30 years that she taught abroad. And she learned the language in each of these countries. She was introduced to religious science and the teachings of Ernest Holmes by a Catholic priest, which is kind of the way Science of Mind works. But she actually began taking classes right here at Oak Brook with Peggy Huss, Dr. Peggy. Was that a... Yeah, I was just going to say, I just promoted you.
Yes, that's right.
You're a doctor to me. She started her classes here, but the online study program that we have in Science of Mind allowed her to, even though she was traveling a great deal, to become a practitioner in 2008 and a minister in 2011. When I was in the Army, if you can imagine that, I was stationed at a cutting-edge electronic R&D lab in Washington, D.C., and my commanding officer was in charge of this laboratory. That the sole reason for the laboratory was innovation. And he had a little turtle on his desk, and taped to the back of the turtle was, "Consider the turtle. He never gets anywhere without sticking his neck out." And this is what Beth has been doing all of her life. Most folks, when they start something new, they'll stick their toe in the water and test the water. Well, this intrepid lady dove right in from the top of the high tower, and she graduated from Holmes Institute in California in August at Asilomar, and within 2 weeks she was back in Switzerland with a letter of call as the spiritual director of the Center for Peace, Geneva. And within that 2 weeks, that was the first conference. Her group then became the Center for Spiritual Living, Switzerland. Then the emphasis has broadened into the conference being a European endeavor. And with her vision and drive, I expect the next step is worldwide, and then maybe global. chiropractic or something. One of her statements is, there is a new world emerging in the consciousness of people all around the world, and I intend to dedicate my life on earth to living and teaching this truth. Bless you on that. So, as I suggested earlier, that we think of how we can lend a helping hand to help Beth achieve the magic of her dream. We thought we'd lend her a helping wand.
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God.
Now, if you would, sing it to your
You are
neighbors.
the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God.
Okay, Reverend Maria, would you come up, and we'll invite Reverend Beth in a minute. Okay. Go first.
Reverend Ministers of Centers for Spiritual Living, we present to you Reverend Natalie Beth Linguri to be ordained into the ministry of the Centers for Spiritual Living.
This is the part where there are brief personal comments made. I love you, Beth. And that's all that there is to say. Thank you.
If we could envision a worldwide individual that holds the vision for the work that we have to do in the world, we could not imagine anyone better to do that work than the loving heart of Reverend Beth Linguri. And so it is a great privilege. You know, she could have done this in Switzerland and left us all out. And I said, Beth, you're going to have your ordination here, right? And how glad that that is the case. Yes. Come up. Please come up. We'll pass the mic back and forth, I think, probably. Get this out of the way. This is to Reverend Maria. Are you convinced that Reverend Beth, whom you are presenting, is prepared and worthy for the office and work of an ordained minister of Centers for Spiritual Living?
We have inquired concerning Reverend Beth and believe her to be both prepared and worthy.
This candidate has been found to be prepared and worthy to receive ordination in Centers for Spiritual Living, having now completed the required period of licentiate ministry. Reverend Beth, the presenting minister will now charge you with your ministerial commitment.
Ready? Reverend Beth, we each stand here as innumerable people have stood here before us, acknowledging God. We have done our utmost in the world, failing or succeeding, and now we stand within this sanctuary before the eternal, and what we have done or not done is swallowed up in this moment. We have worked, and now we celebrate. We have entered into the making of the world, but that is not enough. For we stand here this afternoon with the desire that the awareness of God should be more fully experienced in our lives by the act of spiritual ordination. In the words of the 90th Psalm, let the favor of our God be upon us, and establish thou the work of our hands. A minister is to do things needful and helpful to others. They must live with the people, think with their mind, feel with their hearts, and see with their eyes. You, the vision, now. You can see clearly now. And elevate each of these aspects to its divine level according to its heavenly prototype. A minister must possess a heart that loves, comforts, and heals. Breadth of heart is that inward freedom which has the power to understand, to feel, and to serve. And breadth of heart you have. Of this element you are well endowed, and I charge you with the commitment to love humanity, to be generous and unselfish in your love, and to respect the freedom and the dignity of all. The kingdom of heaven is within you. It is yours for the taking and the using. Prove this in your life and in your work. Our founder, Ernest Holmes, wrote, I would rather see a student of this science prove its principles than to repeat all the words of wisdom that have ever been uttered. We thank you, Dr. Ernest, for being with us today. Remain steadfast and true to your ideals. Let your thoughts be centered always on the realization of the divine presence within every person. So, Beth, I charge you to go, to teach, and to heal. I know that you will love the minister. The minister in you loves all. And may the peace of God abide richly in your heart forever, so that your labor may always be fruitful. And so, Reverend Beth, this is your charge.
Reverend Beth, Oak Brook Center for Spiritual Living has consented to this convening of this ordination. This ordination service in recognition of the fact that your ministry is precious to it. The Center for Spiritual Living offers you this celebration to demonstrate your sincerity and commitment to the ever-enlarging dream of growth in consciousness that will lift the human spirit and heal a troubled world. It is right and fitting. Let's move closer. And let's turn it down temperature-wise in the room, shall we? Lower that thermostat a little, will you? Thank you. That fits right in the ordination ceremony, don't you think, those of us in robes? It is right and fitting that you should pledge your allegiance to the global vision showing forth here at Oak Brook Center for Spiritual Living, as well as in your ministry in Europe, centered in Geneva, Switzerland, and the founding of the Centers for Spiritual Living European Conference. Are you now prepared and willing to pledge publicly your commitment to this teaching as an ordained minister of Centers for Spiritual Living?
I am.
Do you dedicate yourself to respond faithfully to the needs of all those who call upon you?
I am.
Do you have the realization that God is spirit, universal presence, and that this divine presence is everywhere, just as life is everywhere present?
I do.
Do you have the faith of God in humanity, in life, in the concept of unity, in Centers for Spiritual Living, and in this, your ordination?
I do.
Do you pledge to teach that God is principle and presence, love and law, the same yesterday, today, and forever?
I do.
The greatest of the mystics were people of power because they were people of prayer. Be reminded that when we pray, we find that our prayers are answered abundantly, overwhelmingly, above all that we ask or think. Be ever aware that a minister that is too busy to take time to pray is a great deal busier than God ever intended them to be. Beloved minister, day by day, through all the circumstances, no matter what others may do or say, in all things, everywhere, think to pray. Come alone, sacred, solitary, face to face to the great reality. Reverend Natalie Beth Linguri, by the authority vested in me by Centers for Spiritual Living, I now do confer upon you ordination as a minister of Centers for Spiritual Living. You now receive authority to exercise this ministry and to be a faithful steward in the fulfillment with all the rights, privileges, and obligations pertaining thereto. On behalf of the officiating ministers on this platform and in this room who are ordained ministers of Centers for Spiritual Living, extend to you, Reverend Beth, the right hand of fellowship. Now, what I'd like to do right now is for us to personalize this, and I invite all the ministers to stand. We're all going to ordain Reverend Beth Linguri right now. So in whatever mode you'd like to reach out to her, and let's get the podium thing out of the way, so that there's nothing in the way, and let's all just say whatever words we choose in a chamber of prayer as an ordination for Reverend Beth.
Does she hold her soul? Oh, sweetheart. Hi. Hi. Can I help out? Reverend Beth, the Center for Spiritual Living has a special gift for you, which is a symbol of your new life as an ordained minister. We present to you this stole. The stole brings with it the blessing of all the ministers here and everyone here who loves you. The stole is very important because it is a symbol of your role as a minister in the world. Every time you wear it, it will be a reminder of your role as a minister in the world, and it will be a reminder to you and to others of your commitment to living a conscious spiritual life and of this journey which has brought you to this present moment, to your ordination. Your ordination stole is purple and gold. No coincidence, those are Beth's favorite colors. And though colors mean different things to different people, among people of faith, purple is understood to be the color of devotion, mystery, peace, and nobility. Purple combines the... It was the nobility, I think. Purple combines the calm stability of blue and the fierce energy of red. It is trimmed in gold, which is intimately linked with divinity. Gold symbolizes wealth used wisely and represents illumination, love, compassion, and courage. Now, the satin fabric is a reminder that your ministry, just like your life, is woven from the threads of many people, events, and understandings, and it is all of these woven together, all of these beautiful different experiences that make your life, as well as your ministry, strong and a beautiful tapestry of truth. The smooth quality of satin reminds us that in rough spots of our ministry, that if we lean into our spiritual being, it is one of smoothness. Beneath and ever present in all of the world's challenges, it's right there in the midst. Our Science of Mind symbol expresses the triune nature of God, which continuously reveals itself in the heart of our lives, reminding us that spirit descends into and expresses as all form, that all is sacred, all is divine. So every time you wear this stole, you are linked with all of the clergy and spiritual teachers around the globe and across the centuries, throughout millennia, actually. You carry upon your shoulders the form and the essence of your ministry, clarity, love, and the strength of a great philosophy and a rich and fulfilling way of life. This stole is a loving blessing to you and to all that you bless in your ministry. And so, I know Reverend Peggy would like to give a prayer of blessing on the stole.
It would be the wrong thing to do. Let's just turn within for a moment and all bless this stole. All knowing that the one infinite source is right here, right now, surrounding and blessing us with love, with wisdom, and that love and wisdom is finding its way in a symbolic way, in such that Reverend Beth, whenever she wears this stole, knows that she's putting on the wisdom and the love of the divine. That when she's interacting with individuals while she wears this stole in ordination ceremonies such as this, or wherever she chooses to wear it in her role as minister, that she feels the support of all of us in this room, of this movement, and of the infinite itself. That this is a mantle of blessing for her life and for her ministry. I give thanks that this is a gift of a deep symbolic nature that does bless her ministry in an outward form, and that the beautiful occasion that today is carried forth every time she wears it. That this moment of love, this moment of divine order and divine unfoldment is unfolding when she unfolds it and puts it on. I give thanks that this is so. And so it is. And Beth's beautiful granddaughters, Neva and Louisa, are going to put the stole on their grandma. So do you girls, can you do that? Okay. You want to get some pictures? Pictures, okay. Don't want to rush them away. Good job. You can go back to Mama now. Okay. Do you want your notes? I do. My book and my notes. I'll go.
Wow. Who said that? What else can you say but wow? Thank you. Thank you, everyone. It is certainly a heart full of gratitude that I just am so appreciative of everyone who has done so much for today, for this to coming and being here. On your program, I sort of tried to remember everyone I wanted to thank, and of course, the minute I pressed the button, I remembered some more. So, just everyone, everywhere, thank you. I cannot say any more, but thank you to my family, especially for putting up with all of this during these time. I have a special something else that I brought along today. This is my mother's Science of Mind book. So Mother's here. And it was through the priest in Lausanne, Father Francis, who used to speak Science of Mind in his homilies, because he's studied with Ernest Holmes for a year. And when I came to Ocala, Mother was attending this community, this center, and this was her book, and it's very well worn and very well marked up with yellows. And I just went through it, and how amazing it is because I know that she shared this teaching with me and the love of the teaching. So I'm honored to have her here, and I'm honored to have Annie here too. Thanks for coming. Clearly this day, Reverend Michael Torfey wrote me a short note the minute he received the invitation, and he said, clearly this holy day, the 9th of July, is a celebration of your ordination and your life that's still to come. However, what is even more significant is the fact that you were ordained before time began. And you came into this life as the minister that you are now. Your ordination day is simply the defining moment. The defining moment. The defining moment for your soul to evolve into its manifest destiny. So he sends congratulations for awakening to the truth of your being, and blessings for continued spiritual renewal, expansion, and expansion and growth in your life and in your ministry. And so I know that this is the moment in which I step up and step out into full-blown ministry. And I know that everything up until today has been a step in that direction. Catch the vision. Create a world that works for all. This theme, which came to us as we visioned together for this service today, has been the heart of my ministries or of my life since I went out to Turkey so many years ago. But it was this statement in this room as I took foundation class. I was here for a few weeks, and so I was allowed to just sit in on class. You were sitting right opposite me in class. And we were asked to bring in something from the Living the Science of Mind that spoke to us. And this was what I read. The creative power of the universe is continually creating, and the power which guides this creation is thought energy combined with feeling and emotion. We can create a spiritual chain reaction simply by the power of our own thought. And Ernest Holmes was writing about the time of the chain reaction making a bomb, and he said, we can create a spiritual chain reaction just by the power of our own thought, when it is in alignment with purity of heart and purpose. One of the most remarkable evidences of how this silent spiritual force works was shown in the life of Mahatma Gandhi. And if you remember, he called together the multitudes and went into what is known as the darshan, that united spiritual force of a great multitude of people. And the reason I brought in the world prayers of different worlds and cultures is that at the heart of all worlds, of all cultures, of all religions, of all spiritual paths, there is that awareness, that knowing that the spiritual prayer, this stuff works, and it's powerful, and it reaches out all around and can set in motion a force for good in the universe, a chain reaction. Ernest Holmes goes on to say, it's wonderful to realize that we can sit in the quiet of our own being and consciously direct a power greater than we are for the definite purpose of helping ourselves, of helping someone else, and the world. It is this simple conviction that no matter how humble our walk in life may be, or may appear to be, it must, of necessity, influence our own environment. We may not be important to men, but we are certainly necessary to God. And that is the truth of everyone in this room. You are necessary. You are the hands and feet of this Spirit. And as I wrote in the program, another line that comes to me from the text is, peace is the power at the heart of God. We have the technology to create peace on this planet. We have it. It is the power of prayer. It is the power of prayer that Ernest Holmes wrote about, and now is discovered in the scrolls that have been unleashed and found in caves. These teachings of the Essenes that go way back. It is found now by physicists in quantum physics, getting to that point of looking for the source of life, or the source of energy, or the source of the Big Bang or whatever, and they're discovering that there's power there, that power of the thought, that energy, that electric energy that goes into the universe. So we have this power. We all have it. And so we need to step out now and go to that place where we can speak it. We can speak it. When we learn to live our lives in the peace, in that peace that it's calling us into ourselves, then our lives transform. We can't change the world, the outward world, of what's going on. I'm sure we're all affected by the news every day, and especially what's going on right now. And I just had the opportunity to pray with Reverend Barbara Leger, who is minister in the Ukraine and was my mentor minister, California. And I said, how are you feeling? And she said, very peaceful. Very peaceful, because she's done her work there in the Ukraine. She's done her work. The people are there. And we can't change those facts. But we can do something. We can indirectly change this by putting our prayer into the field of creative energy in the universe. Scientists now call this the field. We find that peace is emerging more and more. And eventually, that which we call war will simply disappear. It will. The time is now. Right now, the last vestiges of war are on their way out. Violence, fear. It's being dusted out of the closet. So if we look at these events and see them as dust out of the closet so that peace can fill in, because whatever we think or say in our prayers is the energy which creates that peace. So if we get caught up in the events, what are the energy we're creating? So we go back to our inner selves. So our work is here. Everyone's work is here, transforming ourselves into that experience, underlying experience of peace. Peace is the power at the heart of God, or whatever you use to describe the undescribable, the nameless, the consciousness, the field, whatever it is, the creative power of the universe. And as each one seeks that inner peace, there is peace on earth and goodwill to men. I honor the divine in each one here. You are the face of God. Thank you for that beautiful rendition. Wasn't it moving? I honor that divine, that face of God, and your willingness to be transformed and seek that inner peace and release everything that stands in the way. We release, we forgive. Our conference this summer is on forgiveness as a major step to surrendering to the call of divine, to the sacred, to which you and I have been called. A life that is truly ordained. Your life is ordained as well. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you all.
As you all heard, I was sitting across from Beth in that introductory Science of Mind class many years ago. And while Beth jumped off that high dive, I kind of did the toe. So I'm a little behind, but I am still on the same path. And I express my great thanks to Beth for her help, for her blazing the trail, as it were. And, when I started, Beth gave me boxes on top of boxes of books and transcripts, for which I am eternally grateful. You have no idea how much money that saved me, and time and energy and all, and I am just so very grateful, and I'm very humbled and honored and blessed to be doing the affirmative prayer for your ministry. Prayer is indeed very powerful, and so I invite you in this moment, if you feel so moved, to close your eyes and just take a deep breath. And take this moment to settle into that secret place of the Most High. Just breathe into the magnificence of this moment, feeling the power, the energy, and the loving presence that runs in and around and through all things. I know that each and every one of us is a part of that magnificent power, that each of us is an emanation of peace, of joy, of love. That is the truth of our being. And as part of that presence, I speak my word for myself and for all of those here present today, and especially for Reverend Beth. I affirm that the life and the ministry of Reverend Natalie Beth Linguri is blessed. I know that the world is a better place because of the dedication, because of the work, because of the presence, and because of the love that she brings and who she is. I know that lives are transformed. And I know that peace abides because of the work that is being done in Europe, and that we are indeed creating a world that works for all. I affirm that Beth is an instrument of peace. She is the hands, the feet, the voice of God's love and compassion. And as such, her path unfolds with grace and ease. Each and every one of us are blessed for having been in her presence, for being here today, and those blessings continue to unfold. For the light that is Reverend Natalie Beth Linguri cannot be hid. It shines brightly, and it lights the path of many, many, many others. I am grateful for the work that Reverend Beth has done, for the work she is doing, and for what she will continue to do in service of peace and love and compassion. I know that she is divinely guided in all that she thinks, says, and does, and I am grateful for her vision. I am grateful for knowing these words are already manifest. And I release these words with excitement and great enthusiasm, knowing that they are done. And if you would join me in saying, and so it is.
Thank you, Cindy. I think Cindy pretty much covered everything. That was a beautiful treatment, Cindy. Thank you. And if anybody in this room doesn't believe that Reverend Beth Linguini, I love that, Reverend Beth Linguri, has a sense of conviction about what she's about, you couldn't doubt that after this talk that she just gave. So thank you. That was beautiful, Beth. So let's just simply settle in once again as we complete this blessing of a program. So I simply give thanks. I give thanks for the blessing that each and every one of us has felt here today. How blessed we are to be participants and observants in this wonderful, impressive, and so meaningful ceremony. So as an ordained minister myself, I welcome Reverend Beth Linguri. I know that she is a blessing in the world already. Truly has been her whole life. And this is simply opening a new doorway, stepping up to the plate a little higher. And so she is truly a light in the world that each of us can be grateful for. And so as we complete this program today, I bless each and every person in this room, and particularly Reverend Beth Linguri. She is truly a light in the world that shines so brightly already and can do nothing but expand and grow and touch more lives. So how grateful I am to know of Beth, to know the work that she is doing. And so I give thanks for today. I give thanks for this creature, Reverend Beth, for being such a light in the world that she shines so brightly and illuminates the path for so many people blessed enough to come in contact with her. And so we simply let go and let God operate through Beth, as indeed it has been for many, many years. So today is complete. I give thanks. I let it go as you join with me to say, and so it is.
At all ordinations that I've ever attended, it's time for the ministers to recess. But that's not what Beth's vision was. Her vision was a candlelight circle closing. And so we have candles, and we have candlelight. And first I'd like to invite the ministers to come up and form the first part of the circle, and then all of the congregation to come up, and we'll encircle the room with candlelight. So we'll turn down the main lights, and we'll sing the song, I Am a Light in the World. And if you don't know it, you will. It's a chant which repeats itself. Yes.
So
I am a light, I am a light, I am a light in this world. I am a light, I am a light, I am a light in this world. And I shine, and I shine, and I shine so bright. And I shine, and I shine, and I shine so bright. I am a light, I am a light, I am a light in this world. I am a light, I am a light, I am a light in this world. And I shine, and I shine, and I shine so bright. And I shine, and I shine, and I shine so bright. I am a light, I am a light, I am a light in this world. I am a light, I am a light, I am a light in this world. And I shine, and I shine, and I shine so bright. And I shine, and I shine, and I shine so bright.